Good afternoon, everybody, and I appreciate you asking me here today. I've been the general manager at LADWP for about 3 years, been there about 4.5. It's one of the most exciting places I could ever imagine to be working. We are doing different and interesting things every day. We serve about 4 million people in the city, and they're living there, being educated there, going to work, playing, and every day we serve power and water safely, reliably, and we really are excited about doing that. In fact, I've always told staff if we do a fantastic job, everybody should forget that we're there. And it's kind of our goal. You've got enough to think about, enough to worry about. We want to take that worry about reliability away from you. But we do want you to be thinking a lot about our sustainability and our efforts to improve the planet. So I want to talk first a little bit about what we're looking at. So you know how you look at your slides and they look okay over and over again? Okay, this one, as I was reviewing it, this is wrong. So my first slide, I'm going to get all over stuff. We're going to be coal-free by 2025, and we're almost coal-free in the next few years, but we're just ramping down a coal plant in Utah. We started a couple decades ago looking at our long-term supplies, knowing we needed to get out of coal, that it was not something we should be in. We also are looking at a bridge. How do we get from here to where we need to go? That coal plant is going to have some natural gas up in that area, but last year we literally reduced the repowering by about 35% so that we could keep moving away from fossil fuels and move towards renewable energy. We want to be the most sustainable utility in the nation, and we're uniquely situated to do that because we have our own water utility, our own power utility. We're run by our own mayor, city council, and board of utilities. So we can make decisions for ourselves and move forward faster than almost every other city can because they rely on remote organizations like PUC in Sacramento or in other states, the state organizations, to implement programs, but we're looking at what we can do and what we can do and do it faster. So we're looking at how we address climate change and how we address it the most responsibly and quickly, and again, we're going to be coal-free by 2025, not 2031. We've also looked at our emissions. We've reduced our carbon emissions by 47%. And in fact, there was a goal of reducing emissions by 2030 that we met in 2016. We are going much faster and much more successfully than much of the state is, and the state regulatory requirements are, and we reduce those greenhouse gas emissions, and they're just going to keep going down. Very excited and very dedicated to moving those lower as fast as we can. We're at 30% renewables right now. Most of our renewables are obviously solar and wind. We've got some geothermal. We're increasing geothermal over time. We're looking at ways to import those renewables into the LA basin. We're also putting a lot of local resources in our basin as well. But as you know, this is a big city, and we've got to have utility-grade solar. And in fact, speaking of solar, we are the #1 solar city in America, and we are that for the second year in a row. And we have a whole bunch of, again, local solar. We've got a number of different programs, so you could have solar on your roof, or we're getting to where you could participate in solar on somebody else's roof, even if you live in a rental unit or you just can't put it on your rooftop. And so it's very exciting to be the #1 solar city. I will tell you, I was at a dedication. I know that Mayor Garcetti was here yesterday. It was at a dedication of a huge facility on the convention center, and it's covered with solar panels as far as you can see. And what I really loved is the roof is white. There's the solar cells on the top of the panels, but there's the solar cells on the bottom of the panels that pick up the reflected light, which just increases capacity. They're just literally like a piece of glass, no frame. And the man who invented that was there, and he said, you can stand and jump on that. So the mayor, if you know the mayor, the first thing he did, he ran up there, stood, and he was like a trampoline. And the mayor's, I've got it on my cell phone because I got to take this because I'm making me blackmail him. And then the guy looks at me, and I'm like, okay, Mayor Garcetti's like 50 pounds less than I am. He goes, it'll hold your weight, but I have to tell you, I wouldn't get up there. But I admired the mayor for getting up there and jumping on those, which didn't break. And it was very fun to be up there with him and then think of how that represents LA and how responsible we are and how much we're looking to become sustainable and powered by renewable energy. It just was kind of a great moment. Right now we're 30%, we're going to be 55% by 2025, 80% by 2036, and 100% by 2045. Really laudable goals, and we are on our way to get that and on our way to do that. One of the big things, kind of almost one of the pet things I want to see is electrification of the transportation sector. You know, we spend a lot of time regulating our power plants and emissions, but the transportation sector significantly surpasses the emissions of all the power plants put together as they exist right now. And I really want to do everything that LA can do to reduce the emissions that are coming from vehicles here. So we are offering, right now we offer rebates of $450 for used electric vehicles. Part of that thought is a lot of people who are going to buy electric vehicles are already going to do it. But I've told you, I talked to staff today, there are $1,500 rebates coming for new electric vehicles. We're looking at increasing our used electric vehicle rebates to $1,500. We're looking at increasing our rebates for chargers at homes and chargers at work. The goal here is to let's get more electric vehicles that emit significantly fewer greenhouse gas emissions as quickly as we can. And for those customers that live in rental units or somehow can't put a charger in at their home or their office, we're putting chargers all over the city on basically street poles, power poles, street lights, so you can pull over, charge your car for an hour, get in and drive away. They are becoming some of the most popular items there are. We're also looking at joining with a number of other utilities. The first time that like all of the utilities seem to be on the same page with everything. And we're dealing with an issue of trying to look at how to take the 5 from the Mexico border to the Canadian border and turn that into kind of a model freeway that everywhere along that freeway you can pull over and charge your vehicle. We're also looking at working directly with Edison to create a corridor between the port and the Inland Empire so we can have goods movement go back and forth and all be electrified and have enough, enough chargers there and enough chargers at both ends. We're also looking at trying to encourage the electric heavy goods movement vehicles because right now the medium-sized and heavy goods EVs don't exist. Moving on to water, we've really, and we're going to put 10,000 chargers in within the next 4 years. We've already got about 2,500 chargers there. So water, very safe. We're looking at everything we can do. We treat your water. It's of the highest quality. We have a lot of innovation. One of our engineers, we couldn't put a tarp over the LA reservoir. He came up with these shade balls. You might have heard it. The shade balls basically cover the reservoir and protect it from the chemical reactions that can occur and help, again, create imperfections in your drinking water. This was done several years ago, but it was recently showed again on TV, and we've got 27 million hits on YouTube for looking at over the last few months. We were just amazed. That's what it looks like, and you kind of see in the distance what looks like ripples on the reservoir are actually shade balls. We've been in a tremendous drought. This goes from not much of a drought to the worst drought 2 years running in centuries, to then one of the wettest years, to a dry year, to this is a wet year. These are some of our hydrologists. They go to these areas called snow pillows and check how much water is there. We're almost at 200% of normal this year. We want to leave as much water in these locations as we can. So we've created settlement basins, and that's what these are. That's the settlement basins in the valley that are dry, and essentially the whole valley is like a lake filled with dirt and sand that we can fill back up with water. Here are those ponds with water in them, and you put them in there, it percolates down in the ground, you refill it back up because our goal is to fill that whole San Fernando Valley with water, down 50 feet and below, but to fill it with water and then treat that water because there's some contamination from the 40s that we have to treat. But the great thing is once it's treated and cleaned, it's cleaned forever, and this is something that'll last 200 and 300 years. Hyperion recycled water, Mayor Garcetti has committed to 100% use of recycled water by 2025, so we're looking at that. A lot to try to get through in 10 minutes, but we are trying to do everything we can. Our customers are helping, and we are going to be, again, the most sustainable city with the most reliable, renewable energy as we can, as quickly as possible, and I thank you for your time.